Biomed, Nexus Daily Updates, your essential biotech, medtech, and pharma recap. No noise, just what matters. TLDR Genentech's KRAS G12C inhibitor, Divarasib beat, approved therapy in a phase 3 trial in previously treated non-small cell lung cancer, according to BioWorld. It is a rare head-to-head win over the existing standard and shakes up a market currently split between Amgen's Lumakras and the Bristol-Myers Squibb and Mirati drug Krazati. Novartis is buying Mirix Bio for up to $1, $5B, $1, $1B upfront, plus up to $400 in milestones, adding a next-generation ADC payload platform built around a novel NMT inhibitor mechanism. It extends Novartis's long run of deal-making. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei walked back some of his own bold predictions about AI transforming drug discovery, a notable dose of realism from one of the field's loudest voices. Medicare proposed steep cuts to 340B drug payments, reopening one of the most contentious fights between hospitals and the government. Nearly 60% of venture rounds in the first half topped 100 medicine, with those large deals worth $7, $5B, up 23% from a year ago. Executive takeaway KRAS was called undruggable for 40 years, and this week it took another beating. Genentech's Divarasib showed superiority over approved therapy in previously treated non-small cell lung cancer, which matters for two reasons. First, head-to-head wins are rare in oncology. Most drugs get approved by beating chemo or placebo, not by beating the current targeted standard, so a G12C inhibitor topping approved therapy is a real statement. Second, it reshapes a competitive field that Amgen's Lumakras opened in 2021 and that Krazati joined soon after. Both of those drugs have underwhelmed commercially relative to the early hype, and Divarasib now arrives claiming it can do better. If the full data hold up, Genentech has the best-in-class G12C drug and the rest of the field has a problem. Step back and the whole RAS story is the one to watch this year. We spent the spring on Revolution Medicines and its pan-RAS drug Divarasib, which posted practice-changing pancreatic cancer data at ASCO, and its second molecule RM-055. Now Genentech is pushing the narrower G12C approach past the incumbents. Two different bets on the same oncogene, both paying off in the same year after 4 decades of failure. That is the kind of arc that defines a decade in cancer drug development, and we will keep tracking who ends up owning which slice of it. One more thread worth flagging. We have covered the AI drug discovery deal spree all year, from isomorphic to in silico to the Anthropic pharma ecosystem. This week, Anthropic's own CEO tempered expectations for how fast AI will actually change biology. We think that is healthy. The tools are real and the deals are real, but the timelines the hype cycle promised were never going to hold, and a little realism from the top is better for the field than another round of over-promising. Read full analysis. Oncology Genentech just made the case that it has the best KRAS G12C drug in the class. RHHBY Roche's Genentech unit reported that its KRAS G12C inhibitor, Divarasib, beat approved therapy in a phase 3 trial in previously treated non-small cell lung cancer, according to BioWorld. The G12C mutation drives a meaningful slice of lung cancers, and until now the approved options have been Amgen's Lumakras and the BMS and Mirati drug Krazati, both of which launched to big expectations and delivered modest commercial results. A head-to-head style win over the approved standard is uncommon and positions Divarasib as a potential best-in-class option. Watch for the full data at an upcoming medical meeting, since the size of the benefit will determine whether this reshuffles prescribing or just adds a third option to the mix. M&A Novartis keeps buying, and this time it is betting on a better ADC payload. NVS Novartis agreed to acquire UK-based Mirix Bio for up to $1, $5B, with $1, $1B upfront, and up to $400 in milestones, according to Stat and the Pharma Letter. The prize is a novel antibody-drug conjugate payload platform built on NMT inhibition, a mechanism designed to overcome the resistance that limits current ADC payloads, plus lead programs aimed at B7H3 and HER2. This is a platform bet rather than a single asset buy, and it fits the pattern we have tracked all year. Novartis has been one of the most active deal-makers in pharma, layering ADCs and molecular glues onto its pipeline. The ADC field has been racing toward new targets, but the payload itself has been a quieter bottleneck, and Novartis is paying to get ahead of it. AI and drug discovery, the loudest voice in AI, just told everyone to slow down. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei tempered his own earlier predictions about how quickly AI will transform drug discovery, according to Stat. Coming from someone who has made some of the boldest claims in the space, it is a notable reset. Our read, this is good for the field. We have covered a steady run of AI discovery deals this year, from Insilico and Takeda to the broad Anthropic pharma ecosystem, and the technology is genuinely useful. But the idea that AI would compress a decade of biology into a couple of years was always more pitch than plan. Realistic timelines make for better partnerships and fewer disappointed boards. Policy Medicare reopened the 340B fight. Medicare proposed steep cuts to 340B drug payments, according to Stat, reigniting a long-running battle between hospitals that depend on the discount program and an administration looking to rein in drug spending. The 340B program has ballooned in size and complexity, and any move to cut payments draws immediate pushback from the hospital lobby. For drug makers, the program remains a persistent source of channel complexity and disputed discounts, so any reform that clarifies the rules could cut both ways. Expect a loud comment period. Coming up, July 17th, the 5 named pharmas respond to the House China Trials probe. July 31st, Section 232 pharma tariffs effective for large companies. August 2026, Replimune RP1 FDA response. August 22, Capricor Duramyocel, PDUFA, Advisory Committee pending, imminent, Revolution. Medicines, CNPV filing, Lilly Foundayo, T2D filing. Read, full analysis, Biomed, Nexus. Pro, Institutional Intelligence, brief. The KRAS field just got a leader for most of the modern era of cancer drug development. KRAS was the target everyone wanted and no one could hit. That changed in 2021 when Amgen's Lumakras became the first approved KRAS G12C inhibitor, followed by Krazati from Mirati, now part of Bristol Myers Squibb. Both were scientific milestones. Neither became the commercial blockbuster the early excitement suggested, held back by modest response durations and a competitive second-line lung cancer setting. Divarasib now enters claiming superiority over approved therapy. If that holds in the full dataset, the read-through is straightforward. Genentech takes the lead in G12C, Amgen and BMS have to defend franchises that were already underwhelming, and the bar for any follow-on G12C program rises. The nuance to watch is the magnitude of benefit and the safety profile, because a marginal edge changes prescribing far less than a decisive one. The bigger picture is the 2-track RAS story. Genentech is going narrow and deep on G12C, the single most common druggable KRAS mutation. Revolution Medicines is going broad with Divarasib, a pan-RAS approach that hit hard in pancreatic cancer and is heading for a CNPV filing. These are not the same market. G12C is largely a lung cancer story today, while the pan-RAS approach opens pancreatic and colorectal disease, where the mutations are more varied. The companies that sort out which approach wins in which tumor will define KRAS oncology for the next decade. After 40 years of failure, the field suddenly has an embarrassment of riches. Novartis bought the payload, not the target. Most ADC deal-making has focused on targets, the antibody's address label that tells it which cells to hit. HER2, TROP2, B7H3, Nectin-4 and the rest. Novartis's Mirix deal is different. The value here is the payload, the toxic warhead the antibody delivers once it arrives. Current ADC payloads mostly fall into a couple of chemical classes, and tumors develop resistance to them over time. Mirix's platform is built on NMT inhibition, a distinct mechanism of killing cancer cells that could work where existing payloads fail. Pairing a novel payload with established targets like B7H3 and HER2 is a way to refresh the entire ADC toolkit rather than chase one more target. This is a smart read of where the ADC field is heading. After years of racing to new targets, the payload has quietly become the bottleneck. As more ADCs reach patients, payload resistance and overlapping toxicity are becoming the limiting factors. Whoever controls a differentiated, resistance-breaking payload has leverage across many targets at once. Novartis paying up to $1.5b for a preclinical to early platform tells you how valuable that leverage could be. Expect other large ADC players to go looking for their own payload edge. A healthy reset on AI Dario Amodei, tempering his AI drug discovery predictions, is worth more than it might seem. The AI discovery field has run on a specific promise that machine learning would collapse the timeline and cost of finding drugs. The deals reflect that promise, from Isomorphic's multi-billion-dollar packs to in silico's collaborations with Sanofi, SK Biopharmaceuticals, and now Takeda, to the Anthropic ecosystem spanning 5 of the top pharmas. The technology is real and already useful in target identification, protein design, and molecule optimization. What was never realistic was the compressed timeline. Biology does not speed up just because the chemistry does. You still have to run the trials, and trials take years and fail often. When the CEO of one of the leading AI companies says so out loud, it recalibrates expectations in a useful direction. For anyone evaluating AI discovery partnerships, the filter is simple. Deals that target the parts of the process AI genuinely accelerates, finding and designing candidates, have a path. Deals sold on the idea that AI will fix the expensive, slow, failure-prone clinical stage are running on narrative. The reset Amodei just offered makes it easier to tell the two apart. Genentech grabbed the lead in KRAS G12C, and the RAS revolution keeps rolling. Novartis paid up for a better ADC payload, and the AI hype got a reality check from the top. This week, we are still watching the run-up to the July 17th China deadline. What are you watching? Reply to this email. Visit the Pro Hub Read. Full article. Is your company listed in the Biomed Nexus directory? 2,104 companies across 14 categories. Claim or upgrade your listing. Sponsorship slots for 2026 are limited. See packages and pricing. New Biomed Nexus Signals, weekly sales intelligence for life sciences BD teams. Learn more